gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities, Wednesday, September 10th. Thank you guys so much for joining us. A little late start, about a 5-minute late start, but the way I look at it, better late than never. Voice is okay, doing good. Don't feel great. So we're going to grind through a show today here. A lot of great stuff to get to, but had a bunch of stuff set up and really excited about the show. So when you have to just simply go upstairs to go to work, you should do it. So we're here. We're ready to rock. Should be a fun show to get to today. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you for doing that. If you have subscribed, thank you for doing that as well. If you have not subscribed, shame on you. Do that ASAP. Tell a friend or 2 or 10 about what we're doing each and every day. It's a lot of fun so far. We are live on X. X is always very good to us. So if you're watching on X, thank you for that. And of course, you can check us out on all the podcasting platforms as well. So a lot to get to on today's show. It's Wednesday after the Cyhawk game, and I haven't talked to Jake Brend yet. And that's shame on me. He should have led things off, considering the Cyclones won. So we're going to get to him in a second. Talk about the 14th ranked Cyclones, the aftermath of what's been an amazing start for them to beat Kansas State, take care of business against South Dakota, and then beat the Hawkeyes at Jack Trice Stadium. So we'll get with Jake Brend here in just a matter of moments. Also, coming up in just a second, the Illini got a huge gift. Larry Gies, $100 million. So now Memorial Stadium is got a little bit of a name change. We'll talk about that as well. Also, week 2 of Ness Guess. Week 1 was in the book. We'll have your winner for that. We'll also have a great segment with Marc Nesseler from Hungry Hobo, proud sponsor of the Ness Guess contest we're doing. That's coming up as well. And then Ty Taylor talking track football coming up a little bit as well. We mentioned it. Larry Gies is the man that the Illini fans love this morning, donating $100 million. So now Memorial Stadium will be now be known as Gies Memorial Stadium. Really an amazing thing for the Fighting Illini. And in today's day and age of, college football, college athletics, money drives a lot. And to get an agreement, a donation like this is a big deal. And things are going really well at the University of Iowa. Men's basketball program, the most successful it's been in the Big Ten in the last 5 years. Shauna Green's doing great things with the women's basketball program. And then obviously the Illini ranked 9th in the country. So here was Josh Whitman yesterday about how things came about. And it's been in talks for a while, but make no mistake about it. The fact that there's a top 10 team in Champaign means a little bit. Take a listen.
This is not a gift that has happened in the last several months. This is something that we have been working on for some time, and so I think the more recent success has been a cherry on top and something that really has excited him, and certainly he's very engaged and passionate. You've probably seen him on the sidelines at some of our games, but I think he sensed the direction that things were headed from some of our earliest conversations, and what has happened here over the last several years on the field I think has only helped to substantiate what he was surmising from the conversations we were having about the future and what was possible within this program.
So obviously a big day in Champaign. Efforting to chat with our good friend Jim Madsen tomorrow, just about the big view of Illinois football. Couldn't do it today. Not just Illinois football, Illinois athletics. Hoping to track him down tomorrow, and also look ahead to Illinois' game this week coming up as well. MAC volleyball last night. I got to talk to you guys about this, and then we're going to get to our first guest. I did the Pleasant Valley at North Scott game from MediaCom for MC22. A lot of fun. And Pleasant Valley won the first two games. Top five teams. Pleasant Valley third in 5A. North Scott fifth in 4A. So top five teams. Both have won state championships in the last couple of years. Pleasant Valley won the first two games 25-9, 25-8. And I'm thinking sweep. I was surprised. Get ready to head home. North Scott rallied one game, or I should say set 3, 29-27, then won game 4, and then pulled off the comeback and won game 5 as well, 15-11. So hats off to Coach Schubert and the Lancers for what an amazing atmosphere at the pit. You can go back and check it out. MC22 has all the games. We had it live last night, but you can go check it out as well. One of the best high school volleyball games I've been associated with on both sides. So congratulations to both teams, but hats off to the Lancers for getting that done and getting a victory last night as well. A little baseball. Cubs won. They're 6.5 back in the division. They're 6 up, I think, in the wild card. So kind of seeing where that's going to land coming up as we get ready for postseason baseball, most likely on the north side of Chicago. So enough of all that kind of stuff. Without further ado, and here's the thing is we got off to a late start. Technology was messing with me. I don't feel good. And then all of a sudden I see Jake Brend pop up and I'm like, all right, everything's going to be okay. How are you, my man? It's been a good week.
It has been a good week. Just found out Anthony Rizzo's going to retire a Cub.
I had it written down. Well done. I had it written down. And I forgot to mention it. 14.
I didn't expect to tear up. I didn't expect to tear up on this fine Wednesday morning watching the tribute video to the captain, but I'm glad the Cubs are doing something right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have shocked me at all if they're like, whatever. He doesn't need to retire a Cub. So the image they hit a base hit.
The image of him catching that World Series winner, putting that ball in the back pocket.
Oh, yeah.
It'll go down in history. Enough about the Cubs. The Cyclones had a pretty decent weekend. What's it been like for you, not just this weekend, but right now? And I'm assuming Ames, that area, Iowa State, got to be thrilled and excited about what's going on.
Yeah, the RV Village after the game on Saturday was lively. It throwing some Big 12 football on the TV, I guess just college football in general, and having a few celebration beers all night was a pretty good representation of the entire city of Ames, I would imagine. But everyone's feeling good, and they should. A 3-0 start. They won a game that they got sucked into. It didn't look like they were going to play the normal Cyhawk game at the start, and then they get sucked right into it and find a way to win it again, which that was just not the case for 7 years. Campbell could not beat Iowa at his game.
What was the headline when you watched that game, when you got done? Obviously 3 or 4, they won again, all those kind of things. What was the headline? What was the key? What was the thing that you took away from that game?
Kyle Conradi deja vu. I think that was the initial thing that I thought of. It was, not only does Iowa State have a kicker who's capable of making a 54-yard field goal to win a rivalry game, Matt Campbell trusts him. And the way that he approached that final drive was different than I think Campbell ever would have done, because I think Campbell of the past might have punted that ball or gone for the third down, actually gone for it on 3rd and 9, not gone to set up the field goal. And I think it's a new Campbell. It's a different Campbell. And the fact that Iowa State has a kicker he trusts is pretty unreal, especially knowing the opponent who always has a kicker, who always has elite special teams.
Jake, you look at it, and for so many years, special teams first off, for so many years, Iowa would win these games because of the difference on special teams, and it would be a positive for Iowa. I think that's one of the things, and you mentioned it, that kind of popped out, was that advantage isn't there. We talked about it in recent weeks, and that was one of your biggest frustrations with Matt Campbell, was the special teams, and they're good now. In this game, it comes down to bounces. And early in the game, Iowa gets the bounce off the punt and that goes their way. And I'm thinking, well, maybe that's the bounces will start going that way. The rest of the game, like the bounce, and not an excuse or anything like that, but in games like this, bounces have to go your way. Was it like 3 years ago, a fumble by Iowa State, Jack Campbell scoops it up, scores a touchdown. I think it was in the second quarter of this one, ball goes on the ground, goes right to an offensive lineman, Iowa State keeps the ball. And then obviously everybody's still talking about the double deflection, maybe a double doink if you're an Iowa fan, off a couple players. And those are the things though you need in this series. They come down to special teams. They come down to bounces. Your thoughts on those kind of things?
Yeah, totally. Like Iowa State has not gotten the bounce in this game for the most part. And I think when you look at it as a decade sample size or close to a decade sample size, I think it's lazy to say, oh, we never get the bounce. We almost never get it, because that's what Iowa State fans would say. But when it happens 10 years in a row, maybe there's a factor of creating your own luck. And there's no one better in college football at creating their own luck than the Iowa Hawkeyes. And when I was on Hawks on Tap with Scott Docterman and Andrew Downs on Friday night, and I was defending my pick for Iowa State to win. And what I said was, I don't see a Cooper DeJean. I don't see a Riley Moss. I don't see a Jack Campbell, a Jay Higgins, a Desmond King on the Iowa defense. And if any of those players were on the field when that ball got tipped twice by Aaron Graves and by Xavier Townsend, Cooper DeJean is probably taking that to the house. Desmond King is probably taking that to the house. And it just feels like Iowa, although still really, really good on defense, I feel like they're missing that superstar that seemingly always makes that play in that moment.
Yeah, I think Iowa fans expected that play. You know, that ball goes up in the air. And
I expected it.
I'd love to like pause. And like Iowa fans were like, oh, hell yeah. And then Iowa State fans were probably like, oh, here we go again. But I mean, and it's not, I mean, so many different things happen in a game. So you don't like to, but like most likely Iowa State punts, the way Iowa's moving the football and running the football, and kind of maybe they get in the field goal range, they kick the field goal. I mean, it was a huge play, obviously, in the game, but a game that as an Iowa State fan watching Iowa, so I had Pat Anger on yesterday. And you can't be positive about Iowa right now. And Pat, how dare he, was positive about Iowa, because he looks at it as Iowa went on the road to a top 15 team and lost by 3 in a good football game. Watching Iowa fans melt down, one, you probably smile, but two, what are your thoughts when you hear those kind of things?
I think it's rational. I really do. Not maybe to melt down to the point of like total meltdown, but I think it's perfectly reasonable to be really, really frustrated when Kirk Ferentz settled for those 2 different field goals. When Iowa was moving the ball, I just thought that's where the game was lost, especially when it was 4th and 2, 4th and 3. Iowa State was very rarely stopping Marc Gronowski in those 4th and 2 situations all day long. I said to good friend Jeff Dubroff when that happened that was the game. Like if Iowa loses the game, we'll come back and look. It was Kirk doing what he always does, and that's how he's built his program. But I just thought it was pretty obvious that you couldn't give the ball back to Rocco Becht. And when you give the ball to Rocco Becht in a tie game and all you need is 3 points, it's a lot more manageable than even normal than, hey, Rocco, go get us a touchdown against this Iowa defense. And Iowa doesn't give up many touchdowns, especially in the clutch. So I just thought it was, I think it's perfectly reasonable for Iowa fans to be frustrated with how that game was coached.
It is funny for me when you bring this up, because I'm an Iowa fan and a Dan Campbell, Iowa, or a Lions fan, and there's no 2 different coaches. So I go my Saturdays watching Kirk and knowing what to expect, and then I go my Sundays and watching Dan Campbell go for it all the time. So it's a different scope for me. What are your thoughts on the quarterbacks? And both, because Rocco played well, but Rocco's line wasn't anything, and he's not a worry or anything like that. But I do. A couple people brought up to me like if Rocco Becht and Marc Randazzo, they weren't too far off when it came to the numbers. So forget about Rocco for a second. What did you see firsthand with Marc Randazzo? What did you I felt like in the second quarter and through the third into the fourth, he really got his footing. And I was sitting here thinking the storyline is going to be Iowa's offense clicks and they win the game. And then that last drive was, not good. Your thoughts watching Marc Randazzo? And then we'll get to Cyclone stuff. I promise. We're talking too much Iowa
good.
stuff, but go ahead.
I watch both teams religiously. I love talking college football, so I'm happy to talk. And there's honestly more storylines coming out of the losing team in this game typically than the winning team. Yeah. And when it comes to Gronowski, I agree with you. I got to the RV Village after the game, and I was so confused when I heard several Hawkeye fans like calling for Gronowski's job, calling him a bust, because I thought he was maybe the only reason other than TJ Hall that Iowa was even in the game. And that's where I thought it was a little bit of coaching malpractice, because the first quarter, I could have predicted every single play call, run up the middle, pass in a tough passing situation. In the second quarter, whenever Gronowski was on the roll, the threat to run, the threat to hit a 8 or 9 yard out route, that's where he looked at his best. And it was when he was being an athlete, being a quarterback. And I just think the play calling was too conservative, and it's probably being pounded into his head. Do not turn the ball over. Do not turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over. And I think that just really limits a quarterback in all areas. So I honestly thought he was fine and would have been the reason Iowa won if they were able to pull it out.
Jake Brend joining me right now from Off the Air with Matt Randazzo from CycloneFanatic. I will say this too. I don't know. Yeah, the last drive wasn't, but that place was shaking. And
it was shaking. And
you go out there and there's 4 wideouts. You don't have a back. I mean, it's not what Iowa does. And so with that being said, it was an awfully difficult situation to be in. Down 3, trying to get into field goal range. Obviously, if you're an Iowa fan, you wish you saw a little bit better. Iowa State, obviously, we talked throughout the offseason about what these first 3 games were like. And obviously the sandwich trap game, but to play your biggest rival in Ireland and win there, and then come back home and play your biggest rival at Iowa and win there. 3-0 on the road at Arkansas State. We'll talk about the game in a second, but just after these first 3 games, Cyclones fans have to be super excited, and they're 3-0. They're ranked 14th in the country. What's the vibe right now in Ames?
I mean, I don't see how it could be any higher. I guess maybe it'd be higher if Kansas State didn't lose to Army and look terrible, but I think the reasoning for that is, I think part of it is it's a lot harder to come back from Ireland when you lose than it is when you win. And I think when you look at how the schedule sets up for Iowa State, with the 2 road games that they'll have to open Big 12 play after playing a very beatable Arizona team, it's really hard to look at the schedule and not think it'd be a disappointment to start anything worse than 9-0. Like it's truly at that point, with how the Cyclones are playing, with how established they are, how many starters they've brought back, and how they've started the season. Again, it's college football and anything else can happen, but that's what my expectation is, and that's what I think the fan base's expectation should be.
No, absolutely. And they're favored. Is there a game this year left that they're not going to be favored in?
Probably at TCU, unless something drastic changes. Yep. And even then, you're probably looking at a field goal to 4 points, somewhere in that range. Probably
the fact that you're on the road is the reason why that's an underdog line. When you look at it too, Jake, I guess I asked somebody the other day, or somebody asked me, they're like, why is Iowa State going to Arkansas State? So I'll ask you, like, how does that, like, why is that a game? I know they play it. I mean, it's just another non-con, but why are they going on the road?
Well, there's a few different reasons. One, it's scheduled pretty much a decade out, and that's another story of how ridiculous college football scheduling is. The other is last night on the coach's show, Jamie Pollard said that playing a group of 5 team on the road saves about $4 million, which is a pretty substantial number when you're completely in like survival mode as an athletic department. And it's because you're not paying them for the bye game. You're pretty much just scheduling a home and home. Nobody's paying anybody. And that's one way to hopefully earn 2 easy wins. But I think it's a bad look for the school. I think it's a bad look for the conference. There's 4 other Big 12 schools that are doing it this year. There's pretty much, I'd say half the league does it every other year. It seems like that. But it's supposed to be a free win, and you can't sleepwalk into any game, but you definitely cannot sleepwalk on the road when it's going to be 99 degrees in Jonesboro on Saturday.
Oh, man, are you going?
I'm not. This will probably be the one road game that I'm not at if all goes according to plan.
So let me connect some dots real quick and ask you about this. So you see, and you heard the news at Illinois yesterday, they get a $100 million check and you get your name on the building, which makes sense. When you hear that as a Cyclone fan and you know what they're going through financially right now and trying to figure things out, what comes to your mind, I guess?
I think this has been a pretty big discussion topic lately between Iowa and Iowa State fans. It's, would you rather be on an equal playing field in a conference where you're making less money, or would you rather be middle of the pack making more money but most likely never competing with the Ohio States, Penn States, Oregons of the world? And I think you'd rather be in Iowa State's shoes. I think you look at everything aside from the financials. We don't touch that. Me and you don't. The fan bases don't touch that. I think it's just better when you wake up every Saturday knowing like everything is in front of us. And that's where if Iowa State were Purdue or Michigan State, I just don't think it would be as exciting, because for the most part, I don't think there's going to ever be a world where Iowa or Iowa State or even Illinois are good enough to win a national championship. So what do you set that goal at? Is it a conference championship? Is it a playoff berth? And I just think even being way behind in financials and NIL, as long as you have a seat at the table to compete for some sort of goal, I think that's the better spot to be right now.
What about Jake Brend Field? I think you can't really get Jack Trice. So Jake, I mean, you got the money. Is
this like an 8-man football program?
I was gonna say, I know what the TV business pays, so I know you're just probably sitting on a pile of money. So write the check, Jake. Right? No, that's the first thing I thought of was like, does Iowa have a guy like that? Does Iowa State have someone like that? I mean, that's what college sports kind of comes around to these days is it's a big business, and what big business people can help you out financially is a big deal. Jake Brend joining me right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Let's look at Arkansas State. It is a very winnable game, a game they should win, all of those kind of things. Is there any concern? Heat, road, coming off of a game against the Cyclones, or the Hawkeyes, which I'll tell you this, I expected South Dakota to be like, and they rolled. So coaching wise, I wouldn't worry about that. But I guess, what are your thoughts as Iowa State gets ready to go down to Arkansas State?
Yeah, it's a concern anytime you go on the road for one of these games, and it's not even just a non-conference Group of 5 game. Like, I'll feel this when Iowa State goes to a terrible Oklahoma State team to end the season. Just anytime that you're going to be walking into an atmosphere against a team where you're favored by 20, that's just a tough spot. And then when you factor in already losing at Ohio back in 2023, there is some PTSD for Cyclone fans. But the good news is Rocco Becht was the quarterback for that game. He's not going to let that happen again. There's a lot of players who were on that team, and Iowa State's a 20-point favorite for a reason. They'd be a 30-point favorite if this game was in Ames. They should be able to take care of business. But when it comes to the heat and some of the fatigue problems that I think both teams saw in the Cyhawk game on Saturday, the biggest concern is just getting out of there fresh, getting out of there healthy, and walking into the bye week, hopefully, with a 25-point win, and Rocco Becht didn't need to play the last fourth quarter or the last half of the third quarter on. That's the goal.
Jake, before I let you go, give me a pick first. Your pick, your score. Do you have a score prediction yet?
Oh, let me pull it up. I texted Randy Peterson my pick. I believe I went 38-20, so not a cover, but I think Arkansas State will probably score an early touchdown. They've got some good skill. Their quarterback's good, but I think Iowa State probably pulls away pretty easily in the second quarter, and it's a really, really, really boring second half. That's my pick.
We've had a lot to talk about, but we buried the lead. Did you hear Big Monday's back?
I did. I was filming my daily clone yesterday when it came out, and I about screamed. I'm so excited. Big Monday back at Hilton for the first time since 2017. I was saying they better put the intro video to that better just be vintage, like 2015 to 2016 and 17 Big 12 basketball highlights with George Niang, Buddy Hield, Perry Ellis, Frank Mason. Like, that's Monte Morris. That's all I need. That I watch Big 12 basketball highlights from that era pretty much every night before I go to sleep. So the fact that it's going to feel like a little taste of that again, I cannot wait.
Jake, that's outstanding. Great references. And that's interesting. You need to venture out a little more if you're watching Big 12 highlights before you go to bed. Appreciate your time. Tell people how everybody can check out CycloneFanatic. You're killing it. The YouTube site, all that kind of stuff. Plug us in.
Yep, CycloneFanatic in Iowa everywhere. Go to the YouTube channel. There's so much video content right now on CycloneFanatic. Pretty much like 30 videos a week between all of the post-game press conferences, the midweek press conferences, 4 daily clones. We've got probably 10 other podcast episodes a week, roughly. Wow. Like, it's the best spot to consume Cyclone content right now. So go do it at CycloneFanatic.com or CycloneFanatic on YouTube, and you'll find it.
You're living a good life right now, aren't you?
I am, yeah. Hopefully it doesn't turn anytime soon. But as long as the team stays undefeated, the adrenaline will keep pumping. But either way, we'll cover the team win or lose. But it's a little easier to wake up when the team's 3-0.
Absolutely. Jake, appreciate you. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks a lot, Dazzo.
All right. We got more to get to coming up on today's show. Up next, Ness Guess is back. It was kind of a big talking about point last week. Excuse me. One of the longest running traditions for so long, nearly 4 decades here in the Quad Cities. Marc Nesseler and myself here on OTA bringing it back. We had a blast in week 1, and we'll talk about week 2, tell you who won and all that kind of stuff. Coming up, you're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a, what is today? Wednesday in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high, each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfathers is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. On a Wednesday in the Quad Cities, thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it. One of those Wednesdays I've been sick of late, and I can't seem to get over it. So we got a doctor's appointment this afternoon, but we're grinding through a Wednesday show before we hit the road and figure out what the heck's going on. So a lot to get to on today's show. Thanks to Jake Brend for joining us the last segment, talking Cyclone football and Cyhawk as well. And then also coming up a little bit later on, Ty Taylor will going to join us, kind of talk about the Three Rivers and all those kind of things as well. I do want to mention that Ness Guess is back. Really super excited about it. We did it last week. A lot of success. Great to have a lot of people reach out, do it. So basically, if you didn't know Ness Guess, Marc Nesseler, longtime sports editor at the Dispatch Rock Island Argus, did Ness Guess for almost 40 years. I grew up doing it, filling it out. I got to be against Ness Guess when it came to his picks several years ago when I was a sports director. And then it kind of had to go away for a little bit. And I'm like, doing this show, I'm like, we got to bring that back. And so it was awesome to do. Ness is super excited about it. I do want to congratulate our week 1 winner, Cesar Sanchez, for winning the Ness Guess. He picks up some fantastic food from Hungry Hobo. So congratulations to Cesar. And week 2 is now underway. We'll get it posted. It's on all my social media, but we figured, of course, Ness Guess is exclusively sponsored by Hungry Hobo. Extremely thankful to Hungry Hobo for their support. And so we figured what a better way to get ready for week 2 than to go on the road and record this little segment at Hungry Hobo in Rock Island yesterday. So without further ado, Ness Guess week 2 is underway. Week 1 of Ness Guess is officially in the books. So Marc Nesseler and myself decided, let's take this thing on the road. So we're here at the Rock Island Hungry Hobo, and we have to say thank you to Hungry Hobo.
Absolutely.
Ness Guess is back, and I had several people excited about it, and they're like, oh, thank Ness, thank this.
Well,
thank Hobo.
And I was out in the community this past weekend, and somebody that I didn't recognize walked up to me and said, hey, I'm glad you brought the Ness Guess back. And I'm thinking, okay, the person you need to thank is Matt Randazzo and Hungry Hobo. Yes. I said, if it wasn't for those two, I'd be 7 years retired from picking football games. So we're back, and it's fun, and it's exciting, and I'm glad to get people involved. I'm glad there's people out in the community. Oh, and Travis Spreet, if you're out there, I noticed in my Facebook memories, you posted on the first Sunday in September of 2019, you posted that, man, it seems weird and wrong that we have the NFL starting this week and there's no Ness Guess to enter.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, okay, you're going to make me cry, Travis.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you for caring, and it's good to be back.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Really
we've gotten great reactions. We had a great response, a lot of entries in week 1. We love that, but we're greedy. You know, like we're like, yeah, that's good, but we want more. So
I told Matt that we're going to double this week's entries. I think by putting it a day earlier on Wednesday instead of Thursday, I think that's going to help. And I'm going to promote it a little more than I did last week. Yeah. I'm going to get my students at Quad Cities Christian to tag along, and
there you go.
And hey, try to beat your teacher.
Yeah, and get some free. Get some each weekly.
And if you win,
get some Hungry Hobo stuff.
There you go.
Some great food from Hungry Hobo each and every week. So a lot of fun doing so as well. I mentioned like being out in the community, and people did. They love it. They love the fact that's got to be a little gratifying. I know that you're not an egomaniac or anything like that, but it's got to. Sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. But it's got to feel good, right?
It really feels good. And I was just telling you before we got started that I used to pick my Ness Guess games right in this Hungry Hobo in that booth over on the other side. I would get my number 7, get my Diet Pepsi, have my cup here. I got my good luck cup right here. But no, It was when I couldn't even remember who was sponsor, but I felt comfortable. This was my lucky spot.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this is still my lucky spot.
Well, I'm not, because like it's like riding a bike, and they say like it's like riding a bike. You can get up back on. You dominated. Week
I got back
13
on.
and 3.
13-3, and the Ravens should have won. So, and I picked the Illini. I know you picked Central Michigan.
Yeah.
So I feel like I should have been like 15-1. Now I know you wanted 16. Oh, I couldn't. Miami
That would've been
Dolphins.
awesome.
Miami Dolphins, like they weren't there. They didn't show up. But you did well too.
Yeah, I was proud of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to I want it to be close throughout. Like,
And
this won't be fun in like July and in like week 13 when I'm like 20 games behind you and picking all crazy stuff.
Well, yeah,
so I want to
and-
keep it entertaining. You know?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I had a friend call me up and say, "Hey, why didn't you pick the Illini?" It was during the Illini game, and she said, "Why didn't you pick the Illini?"
The hat on.
I know. I brought it this week.
Yeah.
It's to make amends. But she goes, I before I drop you from my preferred Illini list, tell me why you didn't pick the Illini. And I explained this is about entertainment. I was trying to pick games that are different.
Yeah.
Like if we're entering the Ness Guess contest with prizes, which we can't do,
No.
then I'm going to pick somebody else.
Yeah.
You would have not have picked Central Michigan. I probably wouldn't have picked Illini. And so it's all about fun. I told the guy that said he's glad that Ness Guess back, I said I only want to beat one person out of all the people, and it's you, Matt.
Yeah.
I just want to. I said if I go 4-12 and you go 3-13, I'm dancing in the aisles.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So here's the thing. Before we start talking about last week and then moving into this week, we mentioned this. If somebody would have told me when I was 8 or 12 or whatever that I'd be doing Ness Guess in the corner of a hungry hobo
In 2025.
2025, I'd be like doing cartwheels. I'd be so excited. I'd be like, there's no way. So like that's the thing I think that it really reached home with, is that people did it for so long that once they saw it, they just jumped back in and said, and here's the thing. Yes, you're not going to become rich if you win the Ness Guess.
Right.
But how long
and-
does it take to fill it out? It's not the point spreads and all the craziness that you have to do
It's
nowadays.
the fun of
it's
entering.
a click and
Yes.
enter, and then like if you win, that's awesome. You get some food, and then you're just. I love it because it's old school.
Well, I think we need to lock in 2026 with Hungry Hobo.
I like what you're doing here.
Because this. If you add the 6 years I didn't pick, because I left in 2020, I left in 2019. I think this would be my 49th year.
Yeah.
And next year would be the 50th year. So hey, come on, let's have Hungry Hobo. What do you think?
I think if we keep doing what we're doing,
and
we'll
keep
be
growing.
okay.
Man, just think if we we exponentially grow every week.
So he's about ready to do a 5-year deal, and I had to a little twist your arm a
you
little bit at the beginning.
You
I
really
have
did,
to-
because I remember when we talked.
When
it
you
was
came out to
months
the show,
ago.
yeah.
I did the show at your house, and you said, "Well, how about it?" And I said, "Oh man, it's been so long. What if I suck?" I mean, I was thinking of all the reasons not to do it. And then finally I said,
and then
you know what?
come and paste me and just kill me the first week.
Well, see, that helps. I appreciate that you laid down and let me.
I thought we both
let
did
me
well.
win.
So
Yes.
you went 13-3.
Yep.
I went 11-5.
I'll take
so
that.
So I'll take it to 2 games back. We do have to talk about it. I hate to do it, but the loser gets a pie in the face
Well, that's another thing
from the winner. And I've already done that. I've taken 3 pies in the
I
face
know
from you. What's
you
really, I should flinch every time I'm around you. Stop doing it.
nightmares. Of one of my former colleagues said, since Hungry Hobo's the sponsor, maybe we should change it from a pie to a hobo spice cake.
That's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
I'll just do this.
Or maybe I know.
I'll open it up as loud as I can.
I may lose on
I was
purpose.
afraid you were going to say it like a hobo potato. I'm like,
Oh, no.
That
That would burn.
So that's a good idea.
But a spice cake, I mean, it's got the frosting.
Yeah.
We could do a double spice cake.
Yeah.
Because a spice cake is not you want a double to get enough face surface area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
What we're going to do is, how do you get in? People are probably watching this.
Yeah.
Go to social media. Go to my social media on Facebook, on X, at Matt Randazzo at X. There's a link right there. I'll keep sharing it. You literally click on it. You sign your name and your phone number, I think, and then you just start clicking games, and you're done. It's really simple and easy to do. If you're wondering how we picked, on both social media formats, there's the main post will have all of our stuff on it with all those
our picks and then comments on each
Eventually, we might have
one.
a website. We're working on some stuff like that, but for right now, we're rocking and rolling. Thank you guys that did
Yes.
get in, and then
fun.
if you didn't and you're watching this, Let's go. What are you waiting for? Shame on you. Let's do this. So, okay. So you have a 2-game lead. And that was my other question. And I think I know the answer, but do we do overall or do we do week by week?
It depends on what I need to do to win. Like
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. So,
You knew that was
but
coming.
originally it's like it's overall, right?
I think it's overall.
Yeah.
Like I won week 1, and there's 18 weeks, or should be 18
So
weeks.
is it? Are you 1-0 or are you 13-3 and I'm 11? Are
I
you
would-
2 games up right now?
I would say I'm 2 games up.
I think that's
not
what
a
it is.
week up. That just makes more sense.
Yep.
Because like if I have a really, I don't think I'm ever going to have a really bad week where you're
Look,
going to be
it's a little-
significantly better.
little-
I think we're going to be close.
That's a little that's got a little braggadocious.
Cocky.
A little cocky. I don't want like he went from like I don't know if I was going to be good at it to like I'm never going to have a bad week.
I just used that word in class today. Braggadocious. My Bible verse for my classes today was Philippians 2:3, which is be humble.
Yeah.
And I wanted to come on.
Well, kids.
Fitting.
Well, kids, don't watch this. Just pick. Don't watch this. So, we college football wise, we have 5 college football games. We gave you layups. Iowa and Illinois are on there. They
Yeah.
should be layups. We're not going to talk about
And I
them.
even wore my Illini
Yeah.
hat and as close to an orange shirt as I could
Yeah.
to make
Is that
amends.
salmon or-
I don't know. He was the tennis coach at Rocky at one time, Les Salmon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might
Way
be his-
before
might
your
be
time.
his shirt.
Might be.
It might be a shirt, and so those are like layups. So I mean, we're
Yeah.
not going to talk a ton about them, but some really good college games.
Yes.
I wanted to toss Notre Dame on last week. I tried so much that you had to text
And they
me be
didn't
like,
play?
Dude, they're not playing. I'm like, oh darn it. So Texas A&M
Yep.
at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
What do you like?
And
We don't know what each other have done.
No. I'm going to take Notre Dame because I took Notre Dame 2 weeks ago, thinking that they could beat Miami.
Yeah.
And I watched that game and I was so disappointed. I'm gonna give them a second chance.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them a second chance. If they let me down this time, you put Notre Dame back on there, and I'm probably gonna
Yeah.
go the other way. But I'm gonna go with the Irish, just because I watched them. The only reason I watched them on Saturday is because I picked them
Yeah.
to win,
Yeah.
not in our contest,
Yeah,
but on another contest that I was doing. And man, come on.
Yeah, I love Charles Jagasol. He's not playing yet.
Yes,
but
all in
and
red.
hopefully he gets back soon and all that. I'm a good Catholic boy. My dad loved Notre Dame. I'm not as huge a Notre Dame guy as people would think, being an Alma guy, but I don't hate them. And I think that they got that week off after that disappointment because they looked good against Miami.
Yeah.
They played well on the road, so they go back home. Texas A&M is good, but I think that week of preparation being off last week's going to help. So I'll go with Notre Dame as well.
I taught Charles in junior high.
Did you
I
really?
did. He was a great student.
Isn't he a great kid?
Great kid, great student. Love that he's having success, and I love following him. So, yes. There's another good reason. Charles, Notre Dame.
Yes, I like it. Okay, so we're the same. That's okay. We'll have different ones. Georgia at Tennessee. I'm going to go first with this one because
That's good because I'm tired of going
Yeah,
first.
Camille Gear used to work with me over at WQED.
Yes.
She's down in Knoxville doing great stuff down there, covering her alma mater. And I should pick against Tennessee just because of her, because she annoys me
Does
with
she
it.
sing Rocky
But
Top?
she
does?
Yeah,
Okay.
and she does. Yeah, but I will in honor of Camille, and I'll send this to her to make sure she knows that I'm getting some brownie points. Because believe it or not, Ness, I probably made her mad a few times over the years.
I
So,
find that hard to believe.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to go Rocky Top, especially at home. I
You're
like
going Rocky Top. We have the orange. I did some research on this, and the reasons that I used last week to pick against Illinois and to pick against Iowa,
Yep.
I'm using to pick against Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Georgia won its last 4 games at Tennessee, get this, by an average of 30.5 points.
Wow.
Yes. So, like, for me, a math guy to say, okay, we're going to go against that number, I'm going to pick the Bulldogs.
Okay.
But the Bulldog, Georgia and Tennessee, they even made a country song by Megan Maroney.
You can sing a little bit of it for us?
I could, but
You're going to.
huh?
Are you?
You know I want to.
I
But
know you do. I can tell. I'll get you off the
But
hook.
I know you don't have a lot of time, so we're going to go on to the next one.
No, okay, gotcha. I gotcha. Darn it. We'll get in the NFL. So there's 5 games in college as well. What's the other college game? I think it's South Florida and Miami.
South
Florida's
Florida,
already
Miami,
beaten 2
yeah.
ranked teams.
Miami's
Fresno
one that
State, they beat Florida. Now they go to
Beat Notre
Miami.
Dame.
So it should be a really good
Yeah.
game as well. In the NFL, let's go. There's 3 games we'll talk about. Let's
There's
go
a
with
lot of easy games on the NFL. You're going to find, I think,
Yeah.
on your you're going to feel good about some of the picks as long as there are no upsets. but there's some games on there that are really, really tricky. Yeah. And, of course, Dazzo puts those on here to see how we do.
I'm trying to
Man,
test
I'm telling
ourselves.
you. And the other thing is I get my list with about 6 hours notice.
Same as me.
Yeah, I know.
Same as me.
But,
He's the
wine.
expert. He's the Ness Guess.
Wine.
So a really good game is Kansas City hosting Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yes.
Really good football game. What do you like in that one? Kansas City. Are they going to go 0-2?
Well, I picked the Chiefs on a Friday night to beat the Chargers in another pool thing that I'm in. And, man, I was disappointed. And here's another thing. I had Xavier Worthy on my fantasy team. He's down.
Yeah.
But I also have Jalen Hurts. And he had a really, really good game the night before against the Cowboys. Yep. So I know that Philadelphia, I think they're the underdog. Is that correct?
Probably. Yeah, especially on the road.
And I know the Chiefs are at home.
Not a big one.
The Chiefs are at home.
Yep.
And they can't go 0-2. But I'm going with the Eagles.
I love it.
I'm going to Eagles.
Because I'm going to go Kansas City.
Yeah,
I have to because
and I thought you
Andy
might.
Reid's not going to go 0-2.
That's what I thought.
I go back to that.
I literally have gone back and forth on this paper that I made 5 hours ago. I went Chiefs. I went Eagles. And then I talked to my son, Brett.
Okay.
And I said, Brett, I need some advice here. What do you got? And he had the Eagles with a high confidence level.
Oh.
He had, like, out of 16, he had 11.
So you're throwing your son under the bus.
I
and
am.
Get it wrong.
So, like, the Ness Junior
It's Jeans, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he actually made picks when he was 5.
That's awesome.
And he beat the guy that he was going against.
That's outstanding.
So there you go, Brett. Thank you for being you. So yeah, I'm giving you credit if you get it right.
And blaming you.
If you get it wrong.
So a good game. How about a bad game that we'll talk about?
Yeah.
Patriots at the Dolphins. I don't know if there was a football team that looked worse than the Miami Dolphins. You picked them. One of your rare losses. Are you going to go back to the well?
I think they got shut out.
I think they scored like very late.
It was 38 to nothing at one point.
They benched their starting quarterback. Do they bounce back? Are you going back with your fish?
This is the second game that I also went back. Like, he picked both of them.
Yeah.
And I've got a whole bunch of notes here. Reasons why New England historically struggles in Miami. Okay? New England can't protect Derek May, and they have trouble running the ball.
Drake May.
Derek
May is a Cubby.
Yeah, is he really?
Former Cub, Derek May.
Shame
I know,
on
and
me.
you're a Cardinal fan,
Yeah,
but you're
no
a baseball
kidding.
guy.
No
I mean,
kidding.
you know you're a baseball guy too. So.
And the other thing is that the Dolphins put the Patriots on the other side of the field where the sun's beating down.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a warm, and maybe that's why New England doesn't do well. But man, I double check marked. You look at right here.
Yeah.
I double check marked New England.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. I have a 2-game lead.
Yeah.
So I feel like I got some spice cake frosting to work with.
I like that.
Okay. So I'm going to pick the Patriots and hope that I'm just okay, that's a prayer right there. Miami burned me last time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to so they're going to pay the price.
Yeah, and you got to punish them. Ness, I can't unwatch what I saw. Like, they weren't just bad, but they looked like they weren't even.
And I've got all these.
They weren't even committed. They weren't even. They didn't have. There was no effort. There were people quitting on the sidelines. I like Mike Vrabel. I think he's a good coach. I'm going to go with the Patriots too. And I hate not being different than you, but I'm going to go with Patriots too.
Man, do I have to change back?
No, you don't. You're good.
Okay, all right.
We'll have other different. There's 16.
Well, we had
16 picks.
We had
what are you doing? 5 right
We had the Steelers the same.
Last week
and they won at the end.
I know.
Oh my!
All right, we got to talk about the Bears and the Lions,
Okay.
and like it was 24 hours of just like not good times at the Randazzo house after watching them against the Packers.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I mentioned it yesterday on the show with John Marks. Lions 2 years ago, they started the season in Kansas City. They scored 14 points on offense.
Yeah.
Last year, they started the season at home. They scored 20 points on offense. This week, they scored 17 points on offense. So they start slow because they don't play any starters during the preseason. And it frustrates me a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think they get back on track. It is the Ben Johnson Bowl. I'm starting. I'm giving Caleb the benefit of the doubt as long as I can.
You are not picking the Bears.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt when it comes to overall.
Okay.
And like, is he gonna?
I about had a heart
the more
attack
I
over
start
here,
seeing,
and I'm at the age where don't even
I-
try that.
The more I look at Caleb Williams, the more I'm like, I just don't see it up here.
I agree 100%.
So I'm
like,
gonna, and you're crazy. If
Bear-
I'm gonna pick.
Bear-
I won't pick the Bears. The season they probably went 0-16. I probably picked the Lions and the Ness Guess that year too. So I'm going Lions.
So I picked the Bears against the Vikings.
Yep.
And I felt really, really good up until like middle through the third quarter. And I said, okay, this could be a win.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, I need this eventually if we're going to tally the results like we're going to tally them. Caleb Williams couldn't hit himself.
He had wide open.
Wide open. And he had the guy, DJ Moore, wide open for a game.
Ness, you're making that throw.
I am.
I mean, it's.
I'm left-handed. I did it off the other foot. I could do it off the wrong foot. At the age of 69, I could make that throw.
Yeah.
I would not throw it over him. That's for sure.
You got a 70th birthday coming up soon?
Yes.
Is it during the season?
Yes.
Yes.
October 22nd.
Oh, it's gonna be fun! I can't wait for that week. Oh, we'll have a bunch of fun stuff.
But I do not.
So you're going.
I do not trust the Bears ever anymore.
Yeah.
They have to regain my trust. I may not pick the Bears again.
Yeah.
And I'm a Packer fan.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the Packers beat the Lions. But I'm going to go Lions. And it all makes sense. To me, this is a freebie, as much as a freebie as the Illini and the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Oh, I hope.
I think it is.
I
think it is.
I hope you're right. I'll say this too. It's the trends of like you play on Monday night, you got to turn around quick game on a Sunday.
That's another thing.
That's a good turnaround.
Yes.
You're going back to Detroit, and it'd be one thing if like the Bears lost that game and the Lions won easily and they're riding high. Like yes, the Bears are frustrated, but like the Lions are furious right now. They're going to come
at Detroit Stadium.
Ford Field is going to be rocking.
Ford Field,
so.
It's going to be. It is.
You might be doing the show by yourself next week if they lose to the Bears.
Oh no, I don't know.
I mean, in general, the whole week.
I think Lions by maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Oh, bless your heart. I hope that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want people to when you get done doing this, thank you for watching it. And then I want you to get online, go to my social medias, Ness social medias as well.
Yep, I'll have it
and
too.
we'll get it all over the place. All you got to do is click the button, fill them out. Each weekly winner gets a couple of freebies at Hobo, whether it's a king sandwich or a king potato or a bunch of different options that you have. Yep. So you get some great food at Hungry Hobo, and all you got to do is click the button.
And you get bragging rights, and you get your name mentioned off the air.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So
can't get better than that.
Please do us a favor, sign up. We appreciate it. And that's what do we do next week?
What do you
like,
mean?
are we going to go to another Hobo? Or
I think this is a great trend.
I
like this setting.
Maybe we'll go to the one by Browning Field next week.
Nice.
Yeah, like I mean, I just picked this one because I figured we'd be back in the corner and away from people.
Yeah.
So
the Browning Field one was where I oftentimes wrote my stories after a Maroon game.
Yeah.
Because I've always favored Hobo.
Yeah.
And it was right there.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to go back to the office. I could write. So there's some memories there too.
Yeah.
I say, you know what? We'll just make the Hungry Hobo road trip.
Yeah, and like it's funny because you'll see all this. I took the show on the road, but I'm getting used to this stuff now.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to it. So
easy setup. Too.
Yeah, easy to find, hard to resist. I think is the slogan. That's what we are. We're easy to find, hard to resist. I don't know about that, but
there you go.
So we'll be back doing it again next week. Thank you to you guys for partaking. We're gonna double those numbers. Yep. And also, we are going to make sure we thank Hungry Hobo as well. Great sponsor of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Been so since the start. We really appreciate that. And now the exclusive sponsor of the Ness Guess contest here.
Appreciate
on Off the
that.
Air. So, guys, get in there. Do it as fast as you can. And good luck this week.
Look for our picks
on social media right after this. They're going to be up there. So go check them out.
Maybe not right after.
Oh, I'm rocking and rolling.
You're
done writing?
No, I see. I comment away.
You got like 24 hours to do it.
Well, I'll do that easily.
Yeah, you got to do it tonight.
Yeah, I will do it tonight.
There you go.
No, I'm not doing it in the morning. I got to teach in the morning.
All right. So, Marc Nesseler, I appreciate you as always. Ness Guess is back, guys. Go check it out. We'll be back with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Wednesday here in the Quad Cities right after this. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need mobile party experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your mobile party experience today. Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. High school football and week 3 of the high school football season right around the corner, and it's become kind of a Wednesday tradition. I kind of like this. We're joined now by the one and only Ty Taylor, my favorite Taylor from WRMJ. It is become a Wednesday tradition. I want to apologize. Last week I was like, you're coming out to the house. We almost didn't do this segment. I don't feel great today. So the last thing you want to do is be around me as I try to figure out why I can't get healthy. How you been, man?
I've been good. I was going to say I was disappointed I'm not in the plush Randazzo estate, but, the hardest working man in Quad Cities media, Matt Randazzo,
Jeez.
He's fighting sickness, but here he is giving us great content on a Wednesday. Let's do it, man. I'm honored to be here.
You know what? If you have to walk upstairs and sit in a chair to do your job, you can grind through it. It's not like I'm not building any buildings or saving any lives. I'm literally just talking about sports, which is a beautiful thing. Are the rumors true? Are the rumors true that View from the West instant reacts? Ty Taylor, I hear there's
sounds like as the plan is me and you are both going to be there in Mitch Stormer's absence, so they'll finally have a couple of smart, good-looking guys instead of Mitch, right?
It takes 2 of us to replace Mitch. Like, what in the world?
Exactly, I know. He's the man.
I tell you. But no, it's going to be a ton of fun. I've been running around crazy on Friday nights into Saturday. Beautiful thing for me on Saturday is the Iowa game's not till 6:30. So the pregame show's not till 4:30. So I can actually, and no Alleman home game. I've been doing some PA for Alleman, just trying to help them out a little bit. And so yeah, I'll be ready to rock at 10:15. That should be a ton of fun. We'll plug that again at the end. But Greg and Mitch and the guys from View from the West doing an amazing job with a new show, 10:15 every Friday night, talking high school football, coaches interviews, all that kind of stuff. So it's been a ton of fun. Let's look at the Three Rivers this week, and before we look ahead, let's look back. We sat here last week and we were like, Princeton can't go 0-2. And then I remember I was at Alleman and I saw that Princeton was up probably 2 touchdowns. And I was like, well, that's the Princeton you kind of expected. And then lo and behold, back comes Rockridge. Game of the week, obviously. Huge comeback victory for the Rockets. You saw yesterday our Skiles Driving School drive of the week was that late drive to win the game. Hats off to Rockridge. That's an impressive victory on the road, isn't it, Ty?
Yeah, it's a heck of a win for them. And really, it's felt like Rockridge and Princeton have played early in the season, 5 or 6 years in a row, it feels like. And that game has always felt like almost a measuring stick for both teams to kind of see where you're at against another one of the really elite teams in the conference. And it almost felt like a monkey that Rockridge got off their back because they have competed well with Princeton, but haven't been able to beat them in recent years with just the great run of success Princeton has been on. And, to come back from down 14 points in the second half with the way that Princeton plays, that when they get ahead very run-heavy offense, of course. They just kind of pound it at you. They can control the clock. And defensively, they've been so strong over the years, too. So to score the final 21 points of a game on the road against them, I mean, I think says so much to what this Rockridge team can do and can accomplish this season, because that's something that not a lot of teams are able to do, is go on the road and beat Princeton, especially in the way Rockridge did, coming from down by 14 points in the second half to score the final 21 points of the game and get out there with a win somehow, some way.
No, it was extremely impressive. You look at Rockridge now, and we kind of talked to start the season. It was like, they had that game against Sherrard, which was a rivalry game. And then you just looked at the next, I think, 4 or 5 games, and it was like tough game after tough game. So now they come home, no rest for the weary. They have Riverdale coming to town, and talk about impressive last week. Riverdale, extremely impressive. They're 2-0 on the season. It's got to be your game of the week probably out there at Rockridge.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And, Riverdale last week was really impressive, too. They played Kewanee, and it felt like a game coming in that almost felt like a toss-up. And Riverdale beat them 54-7. I think they were up something like 39-0 at halftime. And they're 2-0 for the first time since 2011, which is a Brian Stocking stat. I know he's super, super excited with the Riverdale Rams. But that's a fun game. It's Rockridge's homecoming this week on Friday, so that'll add to the atmosphere, I'm sure. But I know they expect Riverdale to bring a huge crowd. I mean, for a program like Riverdale, who it's well documented kind of their struggles over the past few years. We know 3 years ago they had to cancel their varsity season, to now being 2-0 and having a real shot to, be a playoff team, not just a playoff team, but compete for a conference championship, it looks like, this season too. So that's such a big game. Should be a great atmosphere. And I've been so impressed with what Riverdale has been able to do. Like we said, we talked about this coming into the season. When you see a program like have to cancel a season, a lot of the times, sometimes you never see them back. You know what I mean? And to see them not just come back, but, they were so competitive last year and were so close to getting to the playoffs. But this season, I think it's a whole nother step they've taken forward, because they have so many kids back from that team last year that went 4-5. So I know Rockridge definitely a favorite coming into that game on Friday, but I think it'll be a competitive game for 4 quarters. That Riverdale, you talked about making a statement last week, they could really make a statement this week if they're able to pull that one off on the road against Rockridge.
Yeah, we talked to Guy Derrick several times before the season, and he was excited and he wanted his kids to live up to the hype, if that's kind of the way to say it, because there was high expectations. They've done that so far. So Ty, I'm gonna take the show on the road on Friday. Do I go to Rockridge? It's so close. It's right down. I mean, that's a great game. Is that what I do?
That's got to be in the it's got to be a possibility because of how big of a game it is. And for me, I'm biased. I say absolutely take off the air with Matt Randazzo to Rockridge High School, as long as you're not going to get everybody sick over there.
Well, that's if I'm not better by Friday, man, oh boy. But that's the one thing that worries me is the internet, or to get a signal. Like, I don't know if people know this.
Trust me, I know all about that.
Yeah, so it's like, and our good friends at Mobile Party Experience have been with us. We were there last week. I'm not sure if he's going to be here with me this week. So like, he's got the internet and it's fantastic. So we'll figure it out. There's a couple options. I'm hoping to have something finalized by Wednesday, but it's going to be a good one on Friday night. That is for sure. Ty Taylor from WRMJ joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. You look at it as well. There is another 2-0 versus 2-0 team. Erie Prophetstown goes to Newman. Newman had that headline victory week number 1. Erie Prophetstown playing well. Is this that measuring stick for Newman right now to go on the road? Excuse me, for Erie Prophetstown going on the road and playing a team like Newman?
I think so. It's a Saturday game for Erie Prophetstown, and they've played really solid defensively through the first 2 weeks. Now, of course, early in the season, as the season progresses, we learn more about, where each team is at. They put together a really solid performance against Kewanee, beat them 29-6 in week 1, turned around and beat Hall on Friday in week 2, 19-7. So they've only allowed 2 touchdowns all season so far. Obviously, though, playing this Newman team is a step up from the 2 teams they've played in weeks 1 and 2. But watching some of their game film, I've been really impressed with them defensively. Obviously, the numbers are good, but just the size they have and the speed, they play physical, and they really do a good job getting to the ball. And I know the game against Kewanee, the only touchdown they gave up was like a 94-yard touchdown run. So really, I mean, you take away that play, and it's 7 points you've given up all season. So for sure, defensively, I think has been carrying them so far this season. But they do have a nice group of offensive playmakers back. Their quarterback, Keegan Winkler, has spent parts of 4 years as their starting quarterback. Connor Keegan's a really dynamic wide receiver. And they've got a few other nice pieces, too, that kind of complement those two main guys they have. So it's an interesting game. Like we talked about the Rockridge Riverdale, it's the same story here where Newman is the definitive favorite going into the game, but Erie Provincetown has the chance to make a statement if they're able to go on the road and pull off an upset of Newman Central Catholic. But Newman, it's the same story with them, like we talk about year over year, really strong defense. Then offensively, they can run the ball well. They've been able to develop kind of a more potent passing attack over the last few years as they've started to spread it out a little bit more. They've got a 3-year quarterback in Evan Bushman who's played really good so far in 2025. So another game that's interesting and kind of, you don't see a lot of Saturday games in the regular season. So that's a game that if people in the area, have some free time on Saturday, you can go over to Sterling and see a pretty competitive game in the TRAC, I think.
Yeah, head over to the Candlelight Inn, get some Chicken George, and go watch a football game on a Saturday afternoon. Ty Taylor joining me right now. You look at the Mississippi division, and there's Monmouth Roseville, and they're 2-0, and the rest of the division 0-2. Obviously, probably surprising a little bit by Princeton and some close games and the way they started the season off. What do you like about Monmouth Roseville? They go on the road to Kewanee this week, and Kewanee's a team that we're trying to figure out because maybe expected more from. They haven't won yet this season either.
So Monmouth Roseville is really impressive with their physicality. I saw them week 1 when they played Mercer County, and just the size that they have up front and the depth that they have up front is something that I don't think any other team in the conference has or really can compete with for 4 quarters. They really wear you down, and they're, that same thing we were talking about earlier with Princeton, how they like to play. When Monmouth Roseville gets a lead, they're really, really hard to come from behind on because they move the ball really well on the ground. They've got 3 or 4 really strong runners and then a great offensive line that they really are able to control the clock and control the line of scrimmage too. So they're off to a great start at 2-0. Their 2 wins are over Mercer County and Orion. I mean, I think they're definitely a heavy favorite against Kewanee this week. And like you said with Kewanee, I know they're young. And as the season progresses, I think we expect them to improve. But at this point, it's just hard to see them competing with Monmouth Roseville for 4 quarters, given they struggled to do that in weeks 1 and 2 against Riverdale and Erie Provincetown. And I definitely think Monmouth Roseville is better, especially up front, than both of those teams.
Yeah, impressed with what Jeremy Adolphson has done so far. Orion and Mercer County feels like that game where the winner kind of springboards and heads their way to the playoffs. I'm not saying I feel like Brian Stocking, but it's a pivotal game because they're both at 1-1 and 2-1 looks a lot different than 1-2 in this conference with the schedules they both have. Your thoughts on that game? Mercer County, obviously you'll be on the call for, and Orion loves to come around and throw the football around. Yeah,
so both teams 1-1, like you said, and I was talking with Coach Filler Saturday morning on our Sportsline program. He said, the way he views it is this is basically a playoff game for both teams. Because like you said, both teams 1-1. You look down the line at the schedules for both teams. Mercer County and Orion both still have to play Newman. They both still have to play Rockridge. They both still have to play Erie Provincetown. They both still have to play Riverdale. And Mercer County still has a game with Princeton down the line too. So this is a conference, I think, especially where when you have a chance to win a game, you have to do it because wins are so hard to come by. And when you're trying to get your way to 5, for Mercer County and Orion this week, I just really don't see a path for the loser to get in because it just is going to be so hard to fight your way back from 1-2 with all of the high-quality teams you still have to play. So it feels like almost a must-win for both teams, as silly as it sounds to say that, in early to mid-September. It's an interesting matchup, too, with Mercer County's new, wing T offense they're running this season. Orion traditionally has really struggled to stop the run the past few years, and Monmouth Roseville really kind of had their way with them on the ground last week. And then on the flip side for Mercer County, their first 2 opponents this week have been Monmouth Roseville, who runs out of the wing T, and Sherrard, who runs out of the wishbone. They really haven't seen a team throw on them yet. And Orion will throw it 30-plus times at least, I think. So their secondary will be tested for the first time, but not just tested for the first time. They really have to play for the first time all night long against a team who is going to drop back in the pocket and sling the ball around. So it's a really compelling matchup in the actual X's and O's, I think, but also with what's on the line for both teams, and you look what still has to come down the line. So it should be a great game, I think, really competitive. Both teams feel pretty evenly matched, too. So Mercer County, Orion should be a fun one. First time those teams have played in Aledo since 2014, which was a playoff game. I played in that game, Matt Randazzo.
I remember that game. That was a Saturday afternoon. Why do I think was Chip Filler not available for that game? It's the nicest way.
He was ejected in week 9, and it's a great story because he was not coaching, but he was standing off school grounds at Mercer County up at Fenton Park behind the fence, and he was watching the game from up there. And they beat Mercer County that day, and when they won, they scored the touchdown with like under a minute left to take the lead and held on defensively to win the game. I remember he came running down. It was crazy, man. So I'm excited to talk to him about that because I know when Mercer County joined the TRAC last year, one thing he said, he's like, man, I'm excited. I finally get to coach a game at George Pratt Memorial Field. So that's a great memory and just kind of a classic like high school football playoff thing that happened with him standing. He was up there all alone. You could see him up there behind the fence.
I was there the whole time.
Hundreds of yards away from the field. It was hilarious.
Yeah, a really good football game as well. Ty Taylor joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. A few other things I want to hit on, then we'll let you go. Princeton back on track this week, most likely against Sherrard. I know the Sherrard is in year 1 and just getting their footing. Feels like a get-right game for Princeton. And if you're Princeton, you are 0-2, but it might be one of the best 0-2 teams in our area. I think that things will be just fine for the Tigers in the big picture.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a better 0-2 team in Class 3A than Princeton. I mean, you look at the teams they've played. They played Newman to a, 2-score game where it was 14-14 through 3 quarters. They held a 14-point lead on Rock Ridge and weren't able to hold on. So, I mean, 0-2, it's not one size fits all with every team that's 0-2. And of course, for Princeton, their schedule will lighten up a bit, and they very easily could be 2-0. And if they were, and have better fourth quarters in both of those games, they might be ranked in the top 5 in 3A. With the 2 teams that they've played and could have potentially beaten. So there's no reason to panic there. I don't think it would be that surprising if they end up going 7-2. I think outside of Monmouth-Roseville, the rest of their games, they should be pretty heavy favorites in and shouldn't have a whole lot of trouble. Yeah, this week, I don't think they'll have much trouble with Sherrard. I know Sherrard last week against Mercer County, Carter Brown got hurt, who's kind of their, all-state do-it-all guy. So his availability is definitely a question mark. And, without him, it'll be really, really hard for them to be able to try to compete with Princeton. So, a chance for them to get in and get out on the road, get to 1-2 and kind of reset as they move forward now into divisional play in the Mississippi Division, trying to kind of reclaim that conference championship that they lost last year to Monmouth-Roseville in that 31-3 loss. I think they play coming up in week 5, which will be a fun game. We'll talk about that week, I'm sure, when Princeton and Monmouth-Roseville get a go at it this year.
And hats off to the Rock Division. They have played well and taken care of the Mississippi Division so far this season.
Yeah, so 10-2, the Rock Division, which is the small school side of the conference, went against the Mississippi Division, which is the big school side. Monmouth-Roseville was the only team on the Mississippi side that won games. So everybody on the Rock side, with the exception of Mercer County and Orion, who are 1-1, they're all 2-0. And then Monmouth-Roseville's 2-0 on the Mississippi side, where everyone else is actually 0-2. And we talked about coming into the season how competitive that Rock Division felt with Rock Ridge and Newman and Mercer County, Orion, Erie, Provincetown, Riverdale, where it feels like every week, like this week is no exception. There's 3 games that are going to be really competitive and hard to predict who you're going to see coming out with the win. So that's the fun thing. And it almost feels like a playoff type game every week on the Rock side of things, just because all those teams are going to be fighting and clawing to try to get to at least 5 wins. And they're all having to play each other who are basically in the same exact boat. So yeah, it should be a really exciting, year. The divisional games in the TRAC are weeks 3 through 7. So basically what is that? The next 5 weeks should be really fun, especially on that Rock side as we try to, figure out who's going to end up being the conference champion, which teams are going to find themselves getting to play into week 10.
He's Ty Taylor. He's my favorite Taylor. What's on WRMJ this week? You got the Rock Ridge, Riverdale game. You're doing Mercer County, and then 2 others as well, correct? Or 1?
We've got
Just
3 total because our 4 schools we cover. Mercer County plays Orion, so we have that game. Rock Ridge, Riverdale, as you mentioned, and then Sherrard, Princeton as well.
Gotcha. Well, you can check it all out. And then more importantly, you can check out the one and only Ty Taylor, and I guess me, on View from the West pod. It's an instant react show. If you're not following and subscribed to View from the West, shame on you. Do that. And we'll be on at 10:15 talking high school football on Friday night. I appreciate you doing this. I promise next week, as long as I'm still above ground and not dead, you're coming out here. I gotta get healthy somehow, some way. So you're supposed to be healthy when you're just hanging out at your house all day. I don't know what the deal is.
Exactly, man. I'll look forward to hopefully being there next week, and I look forward to everyone getting to hear a pair of handsome experts speak about high school football on Friday night.
It's about time we classed up the View from the West, and I think us two in exchange for Mitch is maybe the greatest trade in the history of the world. So, Ty, I always appreciate you.
We probably had to send some draft picks back to them for that, I suppose. But...
Yeah, absolutely. It works. All right, my man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, that is Ty Taylor joining us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. The Three Rivers is one of my favorite conferences. It's great stuff each and every week, and this week will be no different. We will chat with Ty and Greg and those guys. View from the West, Instant Reacts Pod, 10:15 every Friday night. It's a blast. I'm excited to just be there the entire time this week and have some fun. So we got more to get to coming up right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. It's one of those days for me. Hat day, no combing hair or anything like that. What's left of said hair. Been under the weather for about a week. So we're going to see if we can get this rocking and rolling and feeling better here in the near future. That's the goal. So, but it's been a fun show, regardless of that. Jake Brend was here talking the Cy-Hawk game from last weekend. Iowa State going to Arkansas State, which is different. I mean, it's not normal that you go on the road to Arkansas State. So we kind of talked about that. Excuse me. I knew that was going to happen at least once. And much more with the Cyclones. So great to have Jake Brend with us. Ness Guess is back. Really excited about this. Week number 2. So head to my social media, click the link, fill out your picks. You can win some outstanding Hungry Hobo products and food if you win each week. Congratulations to Cesar Sanchez for winning this week's Ness Guess Pick'em. And get in and get signed up and rock and roll. It's free, obviously, all that kind of stuff. So, and then also Ty Taylor chatting with us about the TRAC. It should be another interesting week for the TRAC over in Illinois. Always great to catch up with Ty. Tomorrow's show, he doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to try to bug Tom Kakert, talk a little bit about Iowa and what's to come and the divided fan base, which is, I mean, expected, I guess, but we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, we're going to get some Illinois talk in here as well. Obviously, we heard from Josh Whitman today, a huge donation, Gies Memorial Field. So we'll talk Illinois, and they got a game at home against Western Michigan. Then they go on the road for a primetime game at Indiana next week. So we'll get some Illini talk in here as well, and much, much more tomorrow if I'm still alive. I mean, honestly, we're going to go to the doctor this afternoon and get this thing figured out. But, and then we'll be on the road on Friday as well. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank our sponsors once again for allowing us to do this show every single day. If you missed yesterday's show, it was a ton of fun. Pat Anger was on. We had the Kings talking about a record at United Township. Mike Morrissey to talk about Moline football's fantastic finish. Also, having him talk about Matthew Bailey was awesome as well. So that and a whole bunch more. John Marks was on talking NFL with me. So check out yesterday's show as well. And we'll be back here for another show tomorrow right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo.